This is the Skoda Enyaq, a new electric SUV, but it isn't the first electrified Skoda. That arrived in 1941. Admittedly though, the Skoda Puck was a sit-on child's toy and could only go 7 miles per hour for a maximum of 2 hours. Since then, we've more recently had the Citigo EiV, but while that's based on an existing car, the Enyaq is new from the ground up. It's a large 5-seater SUV that's only around 5 centimeters shorter than the current Skoda Kodiaq. And by the way, to save more than £3,500 right now on a Skoda Kodiaq, go to whatcar.com. But as you can see by the camo, this isn't the finished Enyaq. We do though still have important details on this upcoming EV, and we've been for a drive in it. But let's start with the name. Enyaq is taken from the Irish name Enya, which means source of life, and I'm not really sure what that has to do with cars, but the Q on the end puts it in line with the Kodiaq, Kodiaq and Kodiaq. And the E is a nod to it being electric. It's the production version of Skoda's Vision IV concept, which was revealed last year, and it's said to arrive on driveways in the UK next year. It's based on the same underpinnings as the Volkswagen ID.3, but the exact specifications are still a bit sketchy because things like the battery range and energy consumption are yet to be officially certified. But we do have some unofficial estimates for you. There are a few choices of battery size. The cheapest is badged 50 and actually has a 55 kilowatt-hour battery. It will cost you around £40,000, and that's before any government grant is applied. That gets you a single motor outputting 146 brake horsepower, powering the rear wheels with a range of around 211 miles. Next up is the 60. That has a 62 kilowatt-hour battery capable of delivering 177 brake horsepower at the motor and potentially 242 miles. To travel the furthest, you'll need the 82 kilowatt-hour battery in the 80. That should power you for up to 311 miles with 201 brake horsepower of poke to push you along. All of these are rear-wheel drive, but you'll be able to buy 2 4-wheel drive versions of the 82 kilowatt-hour battery with 262 brake horsepower, called the 80X, or 302 brake horsepower, which will be the sporty VRS model. Those hikes in power are courtesy of another motor driving the front wheels. Skoda isn't chasing Tesla levels of performance, but you can expect the VRS to hit 0 to 62 miles per hour in a whisker over 6 seconds and top out at 112 miles per hour. Drive it carefully, and Skoda claims both 4-wheel drive versions will eke out 286 miles between charges. The VRS will also be the most expensive Enyaq at around £50,000. Depending on which battery option you tick, charging from 10 to 80% can be done in as little as 40 minutes using a 125 kilowatt DC charger. A 50 kilowatt charger does the same task in 1 hour and a quarter, and from a 7.2 kilowatt AC home wall box, it's around 8 hours. The battery you choose determines the basic equipment level, and you can add one of 5 optional packs for additional features and personalised styling. Skoda also claims that thanks to carbon offsetting, every Enyaq will be carbon neutral to produce. We can't show you anything inside yet, but we have seen the finished interior, and the quality appears very good. The only issue is that Skoda's chosen to remove most of the physical buttons, including the heating and radio dials, so nearly all of the Enyaq's features are controlled through a new 13-inch touchscreen. At least the screen is prominently positioned, and there's a natural voice system called LoRa, which will operate many of the commands for you. The space inside is good too. The Enyaq is roomier than a Kia e-niro or Kona Electric, easily fitting 4 adults in comfort. There's a big boot with 585 litres of space, and that is plenty for a family holiday, with space left under the floor for the charging cables. So it's practical, but what's it like to drive? Well, we drove the 82 kilowatt-hour rear-wheel drive car, and it's promising. There were some iffy areas, like the snatchy brake pedal and its ride, which seem to differ between cars, but they're still being worked on. Handling-wise, it's no Porsche Taycan, but it's on the money for a large SUV, offering similar levels of dynamism to an e-niro. The steering's accurate, although the weighting is a bit inconsistent, but again, that's also still being worked on. We couldn't venture past 60 miles per hour, but it gets to that speed with ease and feels responsive from a standstill in the way electric cars do. But an e-niro still feels a bit sprightlier. So all in all, first impressions are good. The Enyaq doesn't feel particularly groundbreaking, but that's perhaps not its point. It offers a certain familiarity for those looking to ease progressively into their first step of electric car ownership. Starting at around £40,000, it's also competitively priced relative to smaller offerings like the Kia e-niro. That's everything you need to know about the new Skoda Enyaq. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like. Any thoughts or opinions, leave a comment below, and make sure you're subscribed because we have new car reviews and reveals for you every week. And do make sure you go to whatcar.com to get a great deal on your next new car.